And you know how we count backwards from 5, 4, 3, 2. And here we are. If it's Tuesday, you know it can mean only one thing. It means that it's time for you and me to spend some time together. We've got a really good show. And by we, I don't mean just me, your favorite award-winning comic book writer and favorite comic book educator. I mean we, my good friend, 3-time Emmy award-winning television writer, and a man within a Snuggie, Mike Fasolo.
Hi, bud.
Mike, I got to tell you, you look comfy, especially, considering the winter storm that is hitting the East Coast. You look warm and snuggly.
I heard about the winter storm that's hitting the East Coast.
Yeah. So it wasn't, honestly, it wasn't bad. Most of it hit in the morning, but then by midday, it started to hit about 40 degrees. So it started to melt on its own.
Oh, so that doesn't even count.
No, it didn't count. But you know what also melts? What melts is the hearts of readers when they see the script that I have written for the Valiantine Day special. Now, last week, Mike, we had a pretty big show. We had the entire creative team. We had Will Pfeifer, Ryan Cady, AJ Ampadu, and our editor, Lysa Hawkins. And this week, we're actually going to crack open my script and go through it to give a little bit of insights behind my creative process and how Lysa gave me feedback to make the script better.
So we'll get to be inside your head.
A little bit. So Catilla says, not a robe, a Snuggie, you sell out. And wait, he punctuates it with a shout.
Yeah. Wow, that's harsh. Well, sometimes you got to switch out of the robe. Sometimes you got to wash it now and then.
Someone pointed out, that someone who is my wife pointed out, that we should have done an actual Valentine's Day show, because tomorrow's Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
On the calendar.
Well, if we wait till next year, it'll actually be on Valentine's Day, so then we can do it then.
Is that right?
Yeah, should be. Yeah, I think so.
Does it go forward every year?
I think it goes. Yeah, I think it goes forward.
Well, my wife is famous, or maybe infamous. She cannot wait to give you gifts on the day. So she gave me the gifts today in anticipation of tomorrow. Do you want to see what the Valentine's Day gifts are?
I do.
So there is do you like bundt cake, Mike?
I do like bundt cake.
There is a place in Paramus called Nothing Bundt Cake.
We have that out here too.
Oh, it's a chain then.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. So she got me 2 of my favorite bundt cakes.
They are delicious.
They are delicious. She got me, because not only is it red, but it is Speedway red, a nice cup for the car, for the,
Very
for
nice.
the Mustang. She got me this giant chocolate heart.
Wow.
With red and white sprinkles. But the coup de grace, Mike, she outdid herself. I have never seen these in my life. Have you ever seen these?
No, I have not.
Everybody loves Hostess cupcakes. I have never seen limited edition strawberry cupcakes. And of course, there's 2 in there that make a pair, make a nice couple.
That's very nice. She really went all out.
She went all out. And
how long have you been
married? So right now, 28 will be 29 years this October. And I've got also have Crestor and insulin.
But usually Usually after a couple of years of marriage, it's just like a card and a kiss on the cheek, not all those gifts.
Janet likes to give gifts, and again, tomorrow's Valentine's Day, but she gave them to me tonight.
Yeah. So what are you going to do tomorrow? You got to give her the gifts.
I don't have to tell you anything about what I'm doing tomorrow. I just want to say big gifts come in small packages, which is a good thing for me.
Yeah.
That's all I got is small packages. Anyway, Mike, let's not talk about my small package. Let's talk about the Valiantine's Day special. So I'm going to show you my actual script. This is the actual comic book. It is currently out on the newsstands. I am the writer of the bottom right corner story there. That is the Faith and Archer story.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
So we went back and looked at the characters where they were. I should note that I am a huge fan of Archer and Armstrong, so the ability to write Armstrong as a character was very appealing to me. Do you remember the Archer and Armstrong comics?
Not much, no, unfortunately.
So Archer is his powers have evolved over the years, and
does he shoot arrows like Cupid?
He's an archer. But he grew up in a cult and was his mission was to kill Armstrong, who was one of the immortal brothers in the Valiant universe. But then they became best friends, and it was a great buddy comedy, probably one of the best buddy comedies in comics.
Okay,
written and drawn by one of my all-time favorite creators, Barry Windsor Smith, as you know.
Mm-hmm,
So it was pretty exciting for me, but we had to pick it up where it is. Now it's 30-something years later. A lot has changed, and Archer is now is dating Faith, who has super flying powers and other psionic powers and things of that nature. So I had to read up on Faith. I didn't know much about her, even though she was introduced around the same time. Some like 26 years ago in the Harbingers. I just didn't really know much about Faith. So as a writer, as you do, Mike, I had to do some research. Do you sometimes research for Robot Chicken and stuff when you were writing? Like when you write a sketch, what was your process?
Well, if it depends on what you were doing, but just say we were doing, something with Terminator, and if you didn't know anything about Terminator, you got to go watch the movies. You got to watch the TV shows. You got to just to get something that you could tap into and be like, oh, okay, this is part of their lexicon, as it were.
Lexicon. Is that the word? Is that like an industry word?
I just used it right there.
I went and read the canon. The canon.
Yes.
Canonical stories. Yeah.
All the background.
And all the backgrounds matter for continuity, but of course you still need to make the story relevant to the reader. So what I tried to focus on was establishing the characters, who they are now, assuming that within the course of this relatively short 12-page story, I would have to introduce the characters to new readers, be relevant to more current readers, and also have a beginning, middle, and end. Not an easy challenge in 12 pages.
No, that's hard in 12 pages.
Fortunately, Lysa hired me because, like Wolverine, I am the best at what I do.
True.
No, I have no modesties. Not modesty. What are you talking about? So, Mike, here's what we're going to do. I'm only going to highlight a couple parts. I'm going to breeze through parts of it, but I did want to key in on a few parts of it, which included the dialogue pieces. And we'll jump right in. What do you say?
Do it.
All right. So for those of you who hate spoilers, I would say that I won't spoil the entire story, but I think what will make the story interesting to you as a reader, of course, is, you see the script, maybe you go out and buy the comic.
Yes, that's true. And you can see how it was.
Yeah, there's three. You see how it's executed. So all you're going to see here is the script. First thing to note, I don't know how you format things. We don't typically have a cover page like a screenplay. Usually just use the first couple of inches. And I increase the font size. I like things to look very pretty and airy. And also I'm aware that many artists will take the page or 2 pages, because in the, sometimes the dialogue and the description spans over 2 pages, and they'll decouple it from the script, and they'll just look at that for the day so that they have it in front of them. So I like to make sure I have very clean page breaks. You can see that I'm using bolding. I'm having sections here. So what you can see here is I break down the story. Page 1 says trust me. Page 2 it says trust falls. So basically, when you're doing 12 pages, you're going to be really tight with what you do, right? It's not like a novel where you get to breathe and you can add 10 pages if you want.
Yeah, and you even put in some reference, which is great for the artist.
I did. So this was the 3rd version of it. You might have even heard a reference to it during the actual show. I pitched Lysa on a story. She accepted it. She was like, good, go write it. And then I wrote something else.
Without telling her, just
I got more excited about the next part of the story. So I really wanted to focus on the friction in their relationship. That was one of the things that Lysa wanted to do, but we had talked about a partial way into the story. And then when she got it, she goes, this isn't what we discussed. I'm like, I know, but this is better.
She was like, all right.
She was like, there are parts that are better, but then there were parts where you needed to walk me back. So I think the first thing I tried to do, and I always try to do, Mike, in my scripts, is open on something interesting. In this case, we're in Central Park. It's daylight. We have a close-up of Faith and Archer. So we have the 2 characters. She's smiling, and she says, do you trust me? And he says, with my life. And then in panel 2, we reveal that she is immensely high in the sky. And she says, good, this is my version of a trust fall. And she drops him. And then we just go into the credits. So a lot of people do these things like, let's have them talk in a coffee shop. And if you remember when we did short films, we were like, let's have them be in a warehouse because we can get access to a warehouse. In a comic, you got to do things that are interesting. So by putting them high up in the air, we establish that A, she can fly. B, she's got a sense of humor. C, he trusts her with his life. Okay, right off the bat. So we know that they have an established relationship. It's not like hero versus villain. You tracking with me so far?
Yep.
All right, so trust me. And then we put the credits in here, and then we say trust fall. Once again, just note the formatting. You try to make it as clear and airy as possible, Mike. Now, the dialogue that's here could change. You can literally see that I put an alternate line in there. I'm like, either one would work. I think at the end, Lysa just selected the line, but you sometimes will just put the dialogue in there so that the artist knows how much room to leave for space.
Yeah.
Some editors will allow you to go back and re-dialogue and mark the dialogue balloons because of the short timeline and the fact that I turned this in not to what we agreed to. There was less time for that, but so Archer's in free fall, and he maintains his composure and concentration. He's unafraid. She's trying to read his expression, right? We want to be close enough to see their expressions. And she says, are you afraid? Are you scared? He says, no, not at all. Plus, I can't be killed.
That helps.
Yeah. Small inset panel here where she's like, oh, I thought, like, you trusted me, right? Like we're getting into a relationship, which is, I trust you, but I can't be killed anyway, which is like, oh, you could have left that part out.
Yeah.
Right. But now we say, he's like, well, we're really going fast. And she's like, oh, I'm having a little bit of trouble slowing down. And she's like, now she's struggling. He's like, but I trust you. She's like, yeah, you mentioned no pressure. And she goes, I know you trust me, but hang on. And then she forces their trajectory. Now you'll have to see how the artist drew it. But what I tried to do was, I said, they splashed out on the lake. They'll hit the water at an angle. Be sure to show that Faith has provided a psionic barrier to protect them. Note, if you think it's funnier, feel free to have them skip across the surface of the lake. You decide. And then I show a couple of examples of a rock skipping across, how that would look, and also Central Park.
Very nice. And the sound effects, sploosh.
Sploosh. Yes, that is onomatopoeia, Mike. All right, now we go to page 3. We're in establishing. So we had an establishing, but now we're establishing what their adventure will be. Let's see. We have a comment here. Hey, Marianne, nice to see you there. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so we have to have them in Washington, D.C. I did have a little bit of a spoiler. There will be a little bit of a spoiler here, but you're not going to get that spoiled because you still have to see what it looks like. So they're going to Washington, D.C. So I did a little bit of research on the way into Washington, D.C. from New York. They would take I-295. We set up there in Washington, D.C. Now they just have them bickering for 3 hours. And he says, Faith, you said the driving to Exo Memorial Ceremony would be, quote, more fun than flying. Sigh one, I didn't say it would be more fun. I said it would be a better experience. So, the way couples are, you're putting words into my mouth.
Yep.
And it's a really long way to fly using my powers. And it's freaking February. It's freezing. And then under his breath, he's like, flying's undoubtedly, like they're needling each other. And you can imagine being in the car, 3
hours is rough.
3 hours. And did I tell you the time I had to say, like, how long would it take to drive? Did I tell you the time I rescued Hillary Clinton? Now, here's one of the things that I like to do in dialogue when I'm doing relationships, Mike. Very important. Now, you tell me what you think. You don't have to agree with me because you are the award-winning television writer. I find that sometimes it is more interesting when a character doesn't answer a question directly. So, did I tell you the time I rescued Hillary Clinton? And he doesn't answer her. He basically ignores a question. He just says, I shouldn't have left Mr. Armstrong behind in his condition. And now she gets pretty worked up. He's not dying, but he will, but not today. Right? But like, I don't know. Do you ever do that? Like, and now Archer asks her a question and, then she parries back with, do you understand that? And once again, they don't answer each other's questions. And I find that to be an interesting way to go, like, what is and even on the other page, like, do you understand that? Panel 6, leave it with a cliffhanger. And he just doesn't answer her. She goes on to the next thing.
So, I haven't read any of the Archer and Faith stuff, but have they been together for a while?
They have been together for a while. Now this is AJ. He was one of our guests last week. Remember AJ?
Of course I remember AJ.
AJ said, do you have a limit to the amount of panels you will use per page? AJ, I rarely go above 6. Yeah. I try to go 5 or below. I like to let the art breathe, personally. But I have had artists give me, 10 or 12 panels because it was good for the story. And then they break it up into different ways, but I don't. Mike, do you have a thought on that?
I usually, when I've done a few comic things, I usually try to keep it at 6 or below.
And I'm assuming, AJ, you probably do the same. I read your story, but so we get in here and the drive, they're digging deeper. So now she's like walking around and Faith stops to admire a photo of Eric. Now he recently sacrificed his life and they're going to see the memorial, the statue of him. And she's like, Eric was just so wow. I had a copy of this poster hanging on my wall growing up, and it was literally the last thing I saw every night before I went to bed. And his expression is a scowl. Like he thinks he's so above this, but like he's just another jealous guy. And he's like, we came for the memorial, not for you to swoon like a child. And she's like, I'm not swooning. Let's pay our respects. And I'm not swooning. I'm sharing my personal connection with, and then he cuts her off and he goes, let's pay our respects and return to New York. Now, this is going to be an important line later on. All right. So okay. I just foreshadowed, but you don't know that. So we go in, there's a little bit of back and forth. Archer has gained the power of immortality, which was the Highlander reference. So he's like, he gained his partner's powers, and his partner is now dying, and now he's going to live forever. And his partner was renowned for his, hard drinking because he knew he couldn't die, but also in the back of his mind, living came at a price, and he was a hard drinker. All right. So he said, for the first time, I understand my friend and he's dying. So we're kind of getting into the characters, but like, we don't want to spend too much time in this this world of like wordy, 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 wordy. We got to get into the action soon, right? But she says, will you remember me when I'm dead? And he said, you're right. It's colder than I expected.
Yeah, he's just completely avoiding all our questions.
He is avoiding. But again, don't forget this New York line. All right,
that's
move on to this. Now we have a tight close up both of their faces. They react to the first look at the extra memorial. Now it's important to note 2 6-panel pages. Why do we have 2 6-panel pages in a row? I only have 12 pages. We have to get the establishing stuff out of the way. I wanted to end on their reaction so that you had to turn their page and you go, Faith, look, oh my God, right? There was only one way to do that, and that was 6 panels. All right. So now you'll notice we have panel 1, 2, 3. We only have 3 panels on the next page. We give the artist now a breather, right? And they finish each other's sentence. We see the large, gigantic exo memorial. It's so big that the fight will take place on the sword of, that's how big it is. It's like a building size. And she goes, it's, and he goes, it is, right? And then we kind of set up, and this is the first time we actually see them hold hands, right? So, but I'm here right now with you, my friend should be here to see this. And she's like, yeah, he should be, but I'm here right now with you.
He's
and you see the
Mr. Armstrong.
What's that?
He's hooked on Armstrong. He should be with her.
That is 100% right. That is exactly what you needed to get out of this. Like he is not, hold on. Glenn asks, is 6 the standard limit for a page? There's no real standard limit. I mean, you could see Bendis going to 12 panels, and I think 10 there were 10 panels in I think what was the grid? I think the grid was 6 panels for Watchmen, but it just depends. It depends on the story. Action scenes typically have fewer panels. Exposition scenes will usually have less going on, less action, but you can usually have more panels, unless you specifically want to slice your action the way Frank Miller did and make it like cinematic, like fractions of a second. So, there's no real perfect answer, but I try to adhere to a rule of thumb, which is if I've just burdened the artist with a lot of panels, I try to give that artist a little bit of room to breathe. In this case, 3 panels.
That's very good of you.
Yeah. But, you're picking up on the right code, which is Mr. Armstrong, which is his friend, should be here to see this. But like, notice her speech pattern. Read this for me in your actor voice, Mike.
Yes, he should be. But I'm here right now with you.
Right. So an actor would know that pacing. So I feel like punctuation rather is very important to the pacing of dialogue and how you break it up. Right?
Yeah.
One big word balloon or a couple different word balloons. In this case, I made the choice that it's one word balloon because she's saying it all at once, but it's the cadence that matters. All right. So they're bickering. They see statue. Now we go wide. And then she's like, we need to talk. Right. But in the background, we see some character Capshaw coming up, Eric's ex-wife, Sana. Sana's flanked by a guard. So there's a lot going on, like a lot of fan service that's going on. We have characters in the background and things like that because we want to do that. We want to give a little bit of fan service. If you don't know who that character, it doesn't matter, right? She's just there, right? And then she says, we need to talk. And he says, I'm thinking about immortality of the flesh, and this kind, immortality made of granite. And then she gets mad. And go ahead, read it out, Mike.
As she should. Fine. Let's rhapsodize about the immortality of the sky.
Go ahead.
Oh, oof. Faith, this is not about petty relationship discussion. This is not the time for petty relationship discussions. Petty. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
That's a button right there.
And now they're really high up in the sky. And she's like, you're not immortal yet. You got the power, but you're still living your current lifetime. You have no more wisdom than me or anybody else. And he's like, my mind is haunted. And she goes, do you even know that it's Valentine's Day?
Uh-oh.
And he doesn't answer. And she's like, you're so distant. Distance between Los Angeles, where he lives, and New York is nothing compared to the distance I feel from you right now. So we're sharing the exposition, but we're slipping in there in a clever way. You see that, Mike? You see how that is?
I do. I see what you did there.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
And then we end on a cliffhanger again. Panel 5, right-hand page. Look, what? Oh, got to turn the page, right? Got to do it. All right. So, essentially we're gonna blow it for people. We're adding a new character. It'll be their first appearance in this book. Hopefully will become a significant character named Cassandra Keep. There's a whole backstory of these characters, but I felt like let's add something that's fun for the reader. This is the character's first appearance. Could be fun, right? If the character goes on and is an important character, they go, we discovered this character in the Valentine's Day special.
That was their first appearance.
First appearance. So how did she get up there without anybody notice? Must be some kind of camouflage. Could be a bomb. We have to, protect the people. And then, of course, what is this small object? This small object will become significant later. And he's basically diving like a missile towards her. And she's like, no, don't do that. And he's like, who are you with? Tell me. Oh, spazak, immediately into fighting. So by the time we're at the 12-page story, by page 7, we're already in the fight. But now that means I need to end and leave a little space for the ending and then the denouement, Mike. That is a French word.
I believe it's denouement.
Well, that's a French word that means of chocolate milk.
Oh, okay.
That's... I don't really know what denouement means. What does denouement mean, Mike?
It means of chocolate milk.
Of chocolate milk.
There may
be a website. There may still be a website called letmegooglethatforyou.com.
Yes, the big conclusion.
The big conclusion. So, he's punching this new character. We don't know much about her yet. Even with his immortality, there's a height from which Archer could die, right? You could live forever unless you get a certain amount of physical trauma in which you can be killed, but you won't die of natural. Well, that's
that real immortality then?
I don't know. How did Highlander beat the?
Well, they got his head chopped off. So yeah, but it depends on the immortality. But yeah,
the rules of the universe, Mike. I don't make them up. I just live by them.
Depends on the rules, but yeah, okay.
All right. So depends on the rules. So, but he can die at this point. It's too high. Your immortality won't protect you. And then he's offended mostly because, this is supposed to be a solemn memorial. And what gives you the right? Please, it's not clear if she's a terrorist or there's another reason for her to be there. So we're setting a little mystery in a few pages. And then they both recover quickly and are in fighting poses. It's a very dangerous spot. Her cloaking is badly damaged. Archer's furious with his anger and breaks his usual Zen expression. He's very calm and composed, but things are going on in his head. What's interesting is her words are, I do not wish to harm you. You do not know what you're dealing with. Please, we should not fight. There's a whole cult background to his history. And now we're setting the mystery, right? She's faster than him. She's stronger than him. She's got technology, but she does not want to fight him.
Okay. What's going on? What's your deal?
Right. We set the mystery. I know, Mike, when I win my Emmy for this, page 9, once again, this is my little thumbnail of what happens. It's fight and chaos. And she will not strike it with all the strength, but she's giving him the business.
Yeah, are they still fighting as they're free falling?
They're tumbling across the arm and shoulders of this unbelievably large statue. Okay. So you have to picture it. It's as big as a building. That's what established. And Lysa said, "Yeah, they'll fight on top of it." I'm like, "Cool." It's a great location. Height is always a great location. She flies, he doesn't fly. You've got this thing that's shaped like the most important hero in their universe. Basically, their Superman sacrificed himself for the Valiant universe. Location is huge. It's fun.
Okay.
All right. So he's really fast and he's striking with all of his energy. Now, there's this device that we saw. So I really wanted to make sure that when we show this device, Faith has now picked up this small device. Once again, this will become important later. And all she says is, it's warm. Is it a bomb? What is it? But it's a small 5-point star-shaped carbon fiber block that in the center, there's a fancy old-style clock hands, thick edges or smooth black metal. It should feel like a cross between steampunk and modern materials. It is slightly larger than a hand, but it's surprisingly heavy for normal people, but Faith has no problem holding it. Insider note, device feels warm to the touch by Faith, but it's actually immensely hot when tested in a lab. So there's a lot going on here that hopefully if Cassandra Keep is a good character and we have this device, which I will tell you, I have no idea. I just kind of all right, let's, and then Lysa and I bounced it back and forth. Like, is it this? Is it nuclear? Is it that? Is it,
So what's with the insider note?
Well, because I wanted to say that when they do take it, it feels warm to the touch, but inside it is immensely hot. So it defies laws of physics.
Okay.
So she can hold it in her hand. When they touch it, they were like, it's like 400 degrees Fahrenheit. But when you touch it, it's like it like doesn't make sense setting up a thing. So Archer delivers a mid-body strike, very close-up fighting move, not looking for distance. Fight is tight and personal. This is the strike. I literally take something off of blackbeltwiki.com knee strike. I don't want any, I want to be clear. And then she responds with an ear clap, painful and disorienting. Once again, she doesn't want to cause permanent damage, but she's going to give him yield knee ear clap. Now, there's only 2 or 3 pages left here, right? Yep. So she's beating the hell out of him. Thok, 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 crack. No, stay away from him. She's flying toward them carrying the star. She's focused on Faith. And then give me that, you infidel. Now,
oh boy.
Right? Infidel. Archer comes from a cult. Infidel is a charged word. And in that one word, Cassandra Keep begins to reveal that she is not just your average terrorist. She's got a device that defies description and physics. And he's like, infidel? Like, he's like, wait, what? He just got his ass handed to him. And he's like, I don't get it. But like, we're trying to layer in mysteries because hopefully people will love this story and ask Lysa to have me write more stories about Faith and Archer.
Of course. And Cassandra Keep.
So he's on the ground and he delivers a perfect leg sweep. Once again, blackbeltwiki.com. She's losing balance.
Reference page.
Yeah. So now her cloak is dissolving. We can clear that she's wearing a similar star emblem that Archer wears. So the star is a recurring icon, and we realize that the star in his shirt she's matched the star, and then the thing in the hand is a star. So we have a star, what we would call Mike motif.
Oh, I see. I see what you did there.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
Then he has a rather lame line, but I needed to be able to say it. It's exposition. I cringed even when I wrote it. I am down, but not defeated.
Oh, well.
You had to sometimes you have to say, maybe I could have said it better. I cringed when I wrote it, but.
Good to let everybody know.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you have to do exposition, but here's the more important thing. Master.
Uh-oh.
Master, no. Right?
Who's Master?
Master of Puppets, Metallica.
No.
So she says, Master, no. And then they're both falling backwards off the top of the statue. Oh my God, I can't save them both. Stop her. Give it to me. They're fighting over the thing. And then Faith decides to reach for Archer. Her psionic abilities are stretching, but it's not clear if she'll catch him. No, leave me. What if you don't survive the fall from this height? See if any, but no, nobody's talking. They're all falling asleep on this one. Okay. So she's falling backwards. Now, this is really important. Cassandra's falling backwards into a portal in the sky. That wasn't there a moment ago. The portal is now what, Mike?
Oh, the star, that motif you were talking about.
Yes, it's blazing with colorful energy, the kind that Jack Kirby used to draw. Important as she enters the portal, we'll see she's wearing a star on her shirt, very similar to the one that Archer wears. Crackle. I failed taking me back through the portal. We have to make it clear that it's a portal, that this is something that she's not like dying from like an explosion. Like, take me back, beam me up, Scotty. I've got you. You're safe. No, thank you. She got away. And then they're like, hands up, drop the device. And you hear Capshaw say, hold your fire, clear this area, secure the perimeter. So she's sort of their Nick Fury. And the device, I don't know what it is, but it feels strange in my hand. Get this to forensics. She puts it into a black box by a soldier.
That's where it's going to the lab.
I want to know exactly what this is within the hour. Move, move, move. And then she turns and goes, sorry, kids, duty calls. Are you okay? And then he realizes that was a zealot from the Keepers, a cult from the Faraway, and you let her escape. And
that's where he's from.
I'm not going to say exactly. A little bit of, but the zealot was from the Keepers, a cult from the Faraway. So she goes to him, are you okay? And he doesn't even answer. He goes, that was a zealot. You let her escape. And then her small thing is like, I was trying to save you. Like, he's like really.
He's intense.
Yeah. And I literally write the word, Mike. Say the word right for me.
Denouement.
At least I know to not say denouement.
Yeah. Don't say that.
Of the chocolate milk. So they hug. He looks like Rocky. She's crying, and I almost lost you. I can't lose you. You can't, but you saved me. I never doubted you. And she's like, we did it as a team. And then he says, I don't know how to say this, but I'm going to take the train back to New York.
I was going to say that this relationship didn't look like it was going to last.
Right. They drove down, and then we established that he would head back to New York. And he was like, I'll take the train back alone. And then we want her to be like crushed. And it's like, well, happy Valentine's Day.
That's a good ending right there.
And then we get one more clue as she's walking away. Same shot. We kind of stat shot. She's walking off the panel. Reader can see that something that everyone's missed. Specifically, one more of those star devices attached to the base of the statue. And real small, you see, beep.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So, I think the key thing is when you have 12 pages, you don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
You got to get in and you got to get out. This is where the story appears. This is the Faith and Archer story, bottom right corner there. And you can see even just by their expressions, you've got the other characters. Each of them has expressions that are closely related to their story. These two, even the star in a shirt, looks a little sad.
Yeah, that's not going to last.
That's not going to last. But these characters have been together for a long time, but things are getting worser and worser, Mike.
Yep. It happens.
So, did you find this interesting to go through
I did. I'd like to actually pick up the book now so I can see it as well as just read it.
That is the idea behind marketing, Mike. Get people excited about reading the book. Now you'll have to go to the store, get yourself a copy and see how it turned out.
I will do that now. I will go to the local comic book store.
You want it. It's from Valiant and Alien Books. It is called A Very Valiantine's Day Special. It has 4 stories, including one from AJ, who is in our guest audience right now and will be a guest again on the show to talk about his journey. And we'll talk about all kinds of other scripting things. We also might have some artists that we're getting lined up to do a demo for us because you said you like that.
Yep. That'll be fun.
And we will have next week a guest fill-in host and guest host. Mike Dolce will join us again. I asked Mike Dolce to follow up on the last time he was here. He has now got what is that platform that it do? Hold on, it's hold on, stand by, Mike.
The Rogue.
Yeah, he does some sort of like one of those email things. Those
the email things.
Yeah.
With the thing, and they do the
hold
thing. On. Mike Dolce.
He's doing, I don't know, he's doing something that you subscribe, Substack.
So I don't know what that is.
Yeah, he's doing Substack. So I asked him to go behind the scenes and help us to understand how Substack works. So next week, you will not see Mike Fasolo or me, but we will be back in 2 weeks. But Mike, I think you're going to have some nights off in the next couple of weeks. So we're going to maybe get some fill-in guest hosts. We can't talk about why you'll be off, but it is for a good reason.
Yep. Another mediocre guest host. That's all you need.
That's all I need. I need somebody who's either mediocre or slightly above. We can't go below.
As I started out, I was only the temporary guest host. So, still can be.
Boy, the sand's running out of that arrow glass. Huh? All right. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed watching this. I certainly enjoyed sharing it with you guys. Like we are saying in 2024, please, if you do one thing, do the stuff, right, Mike?
Do the things
that need to be done.
Yes. Get them done. Do the things.
So we won't see you next week, but definitely be back here in same bat time, same bat channel, Tuesday, 8 p.m. And Mike Dolce, we'll see you next week. Good night, Mike.
Good night, guys.